Can we call to order the council meeting for April 27th, 2021? And would you raise your hand over your heart? Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Yes, Mayor. A quorum is present for the City Council, Successor Agency, Housing Authority, Parking Authority, and Joint Powers Authority.
All right. So those listening to the meeting and wishing to make public oral comments, if you're dialing in from a cell phone, please call from an area with good reception. Calls from landline phones are highly recommended. You would dial in 888-251-2949 or 215-861-0694. The access code for today, the 27th, is 591-4683#. Operator, are there any public comments?
There are. We'll go to the first one. Caller, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Shannon Gibbons. I want to make a comment on the Just Cause Eviction Protection System to the agenda under ordinance on the Housing Protection Department.
You wanted to talk about the rental ordinance? Is that what you're talking about, ma'am?
That's correct. The Just Cause for Eviction?
Yes.
Okay, just to be brief and give a little bit of Family and I, we do live in a multi-residential building that was recently sold. And at the end of March, the new owners offered only long-term residents the opportunity to take advantage of a monetary incentive for a limited time to permanently relocate. So they can make renovations to those units. Now, when I declined the offer, I was told that on June 30th, the eviction moratorium would end, at which point I would be given an eviction notice, would have 6 days to vacate, and there would be no relocation assistance. Now, this confused me because I'm a good tenant. I pay my rent on time every month, so how could I be evicted? Now, the current ordinance lists substantial renovations as a reason for just cause eviction. In my opinion, this is a loophole that the new owners are taking advantage of and does not protect the tenants. Now, this is my first time calling in to participate in the meeting and express my opinion because I'm being directly impacted by the current ordinance and feel that it needs to be changed. I have read the resolution by the Deputy Director of the Housing Department, Ms. Decatur, and as a renter, I hope that the City Council will implement the proposed resolution and that my neighbors, my family, and us, I won't be served with an eviction notice effective as of July 1st for just cause. So I just wanted to express my opinion on that, and thank you all for letting me speak.
No problem. Ma'am, how long have you lived in the residence?
Over 10 years.
Over what? Over 10
over
years?
10 years.
Okay, so you lived there over 10 years, and you're saying that you've received an eviction notice for substantial renovations, and you're saying you haven't been offered relocation fees? Is that what you're saying?
No, I have been offered relocation fees.
Okay.
However, I declined the relocation fees because I don't want to relocate. And when I declined it, they told me that effective as of July 1st, I could be evicted because there's no more, the moratorium for evictions will expire on June 30th.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so what you're saying is you don't want to leave so that they can renovate the structure, and you don't want to take the relocate. What was your amount that you were offered?
10,125, I believe.
Okay, all right.
Is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Is this my line?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm concerned. Thank you. I'm concerned about the lateness of the minutes, and if some of these were approved already, where are the changes noted? Number 5, I'm concerned about the housing element report. Homeowners like me typically are not consulted, and butts in the council make changes to zoning and allow increased density and property values without considering and eminent domain changes at whim, impacting our quality of life and property values, and without our voices or our input. Number 3. I'm sorry, that's number 3. Sorry, I'm questioning short staffing in many departments and farming out in the number 6 to the tune of $1 million. An apparent lack of a department in HR oversight, as it looks like the city is potentially liable for fines according to the paperwork. It appears that there are city employees who have also misrepresented the work that they say that they've done. It looks like the general fund is subsidizing what should be department budget items, and I'm questioning continued warrant payments for broad-ranging and other legal fees. What are we paying for? Whose law fees are we paying for? Regarding number 10, CDBG needs to have provisions for prior applicants who are high on the list, and the work needs to be done immediately for those applicants. I'm in support of renters' rights, but also for equity for individual homeowners and honest mom-and-pop landlords. I disagree with this ordinance in areas. I did not get any notices to weigh in on it or to protect my rights. I believe this ordinance is unfairly restrictive to many longtime homeowners, and there's virtually no way to evict legitimately problem tenants, only with great expense. And the math in Provision 11 about recouping makes no real sense. The city has ignored my alert regarding bad corporation flippers with no permits who make large profits when they do their sales. There's been poor enforcement, IPD and otherwise, and you've been restrictive on what we can do with our own homes, extremely restrictive, and we pay a lot of money, and homeowners can't get basic services like street sweeping that's not done well or at all. Permits have been unavailable, so that no hot water for 15 months during COVID-19. 811 dig alerts ignored. The unhoused have been criminalized. And and now this. You did a similar move regarding citywide parking and many other things. Now, on many levels, as homeowners, we can't move. Butts and Padilla are on record about how they feel about citizens, and although you said publicly you're ignoring this constituent, you can't keep doing things without our prior knowledge, discussion, or consent. You are highly paid public servants pretending to do things that benefit the city. We are the city. You're to be doing things on behalf of the public, not just what you want to do without our voice or our input. Integrity, guys. Integrity. Please, have some.
Thank you so much. Next caller, please.
Caller, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
My name is Bob McLaughlin, and
Hi, Bob.
I wanted to comment on. Hi, Mayor Butts, members of the council. Thank you for providing an opportunity for me to comment on this agenda item. I'm here today to encourage the council to consider the long-term impact that the proposed ordinance will have on both owners and tenants. The structure of the ordinance is such that it disproportionately impacts small business owners like me that have been providing affordable housing at rents that are significantly below the mean. As you can see from the calculations I provided, the apartment unit registration fees will result over time in a compression of the effective or net rent cap. After paying the fees, the apartment unit registration fees, the 3% cap currently is effectively a 2.4% cap for businesses that rent at the bottom after you subtract fees. And if you're at the top of the market, that's closer to a 2.7% cap, right? So over time, what's going to happen is the apartment unit registration fees are going to increase, right? And that's going to take up a larger and larger share of the rent cap. And it's more extreme at the bottom than at the top. So for every new dollar received by a business in increased rent, the majority of that over time then goes and gets sent to the city to implement the program. And I understand, these programs take money to run, But because the cost of implementing the program increases faster than the 3% increase in rent, it's going to eventually it strangles the people at the bottom. Let's see. The businesses that rent for well above the mean will continue to enjoy a reasonable profit, while businesses that rent at rates near the bottom of the market will get squeezed out to the point of insolvency. For many owners, the only path to profitability is to remodel the units and rent them out for the maximum rate that the market will support. And one of the previous callers illustrated this, and she's upset because she's getting evicted under the just cause provisions so that the owner can renovate the unit and rent it out for the market rate. And I don't blame the owner because he's being forced to do it by this regulation. You know, people like me, we don't have a choice. You know, that's the only path to profitability that this ordinance gives us. So what's effectively happening is that the people at the bottom are being forced to renovate units to remain profitable. And when we do it, that $1,100 or $1,200 apartment that we could rent and people could afford now becomes a $1,700 or $1,800 or $2,000 apartment, and people just can't afford that. A lot of people can. We've got a big homeless problem,
Well, Bob,
and we're accelerating the turnover.
Bob,
Yes.
Bob, you're at time. You can
Yes.
have another minute at the end of the meeting. Operator, next caller.
Caller, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Am I on?
Oh, yes, you are, Gil.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mayor Butson, City Council. Gil Matthew, District 4. I'd like to speak on the payment of the bills. Now, here again, we have a situation where the payment of the bills, and again, I'm concerned about the legal fees. And you have on the legal fees for Balmer, Kirkman, and some other partner, and it's $50,000. And then you have all this billed in March. All of it in March, and the legal fees are totaling over 2% of the budget. And then you have other attorneys that you have in legal fees with service to the legal department. But anyway, it should be some concern about that. And then you have a fund, AVC. There's no organization by that name on the warrant register. So what I'm concerned about, who is overseeing the warrant register? And then the other items, as far as the housing concern, and as the previous speaker spoke, you contribute into gentrification, because if in fact the housing people are being evicted, that's only to raise the rents once they're gone. So when your ordinance and so forth, keep in mind, don't contribute to gentrification. And the housing situation in Inglewood is dire. And I'm happy to see you with the affordable housing, which is mandated by the state. Built a few. And I don't know what the drop dead number is. But you're moving in the right direction on certain items. But you have to get more active and more proactive and look in the future of Inglewood. And also that table sitting in front of them take that table down and then that's more professional. This old table sitting in here since Christmas. And put up the bars.
Oh, okay. Next caller.
Caller, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hello, am I on?
Yes, you are. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Mayor.
Welcome.
My name is Diane Hill, and I'm a longtime property owner here in Inglewood, 2nd District. And I have a unit. So I am calling to see if I could get some support from the council people as well as the one in my district, Alex Padilla, to expand the just cause to allow property owners to have more leverage of their own property. Just asking if you can please expand that just cause to allow a little more leverage.
Ma'am, I hate to interrupt. Did you say you own the building and you want to move yourself or a relative in, familiar relative
Yes.
in? I believe under
Yes.
Costa Department. And
I did talk to Ms. Yakima Decatur. I've talked to her, and she did ask me to call in today too.
She's a
with my
wonderful
input.
director. Okay,
Yes.
then I'm quite sure she will direct you as to what the law is and what you must do to accomplish compliance with Costa Hawkins. Okay?
Okay, so in reference to the ordinance, can it be can it be voted on to support the property owners?
Ma'am, the ordinance is designed to support the renters and the property owners, and so.
Right. But right now, it seems like, Mayor, that everything is going towards the renters, not the property owners.
That's absolutely not the case.
No, well, I didn't add that. But anyway, thank you for listening, and I hope we can get changed.
Okay. Thank you. Operator, next caller.
No further callers at this time.
Okay, with that, we'll...
Mayor?
Yes,
I just wanted to make mention that we did receive some emails and from those inquiring about the ordinance, the rental ordinance. Those were all passed out to our mayor and council, city attorney, and city manager.
Thank you so much,
sir.
Madam Clerk. And thank you for not letting me forget that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we will have probably a robust discussion when we get to the ordinance, but item 1, CSA 1 and H1.
Warrant register.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members, successor agency members, and housing authority members Dotson. Padilla. Morales. Falk. Mayor Chairman Butts.
Aye. The minutes, item 2 and 3.
Yes, Mayor, and respectfully, can we move each 1 and 2 separately, please?
We can definitely do that.
Yes, sir, thank you. Minutes of the meetings held on July 7th, 2020, July 14th, July 21st, July 28th, August 11th, August 18th, 2020, and the special meeting held on August 20, 2020.
Motion to reconsider the minutes.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
And motion to, no, I'm sorry. We were slow on the trigger, Mayor.
Aye.
And I'll motion to approve item 2, section 2.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Councilman.
Madam City Clerk.
Yes, sir. Council members Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Abstain.
Mayor Butts.
Aye.
Thank you.
And now we'll go to the consent calendar.
No, item
No,
3.
item 3.
Oh, is there? Oh,
First one had 2.
okay. We'll go to item 3.
Yes, sir. Approval of the minutes of the meeting held on September 15, 2020.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Abstain.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. Consent calendar items 4 through 10.
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. DR1.
Staff report recommending adoption of a resolution amending the 2020-2021 fiscal year budgeted positions.
Move items 1 and 2.
Second.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk. Mayor Buds.
Aye. 01,
Staff report recommending introduction of an ordinance to amend Inglewood Municipal Code Chapter 8, Article 9 and 10, and Chapter 2, Article 3.
Motion to waive further reading?
Second.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk. Mayor Buds.
Aye. I'll introduce, but before I do that, I'm going to have a brief report by Yakima Decatur, the Department Director, because we're going to answer a couple questions that were raised by the callers. Now, first of all, and even though it wasn't mentioned, what is the impact on Section 8 of tenants with the implementation of this ordinance?
Section 8 tenants only have eviction protections. They're not covered under rent increases.
Okay, now, Mr. McLaughlin raised, very, very reasonable question about properties where the owners have kept their rates very low and they're less than the median rents for the area. So when you have properties with 5 or more units and they are less than 80% of the median, are they allowed an additional CPI percentage in addition to the 5% the state gives?
They are not, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Okay, so I believe, and I'm throwing this out there for the council, right now they're capped at 3. The state caps at 5, but if you're 80% or below the median rents, I believe that there should be an exemption so that they are allowed to have the state increase, which is 5% plus CPI. And I'm going to make a motion to add that as an amendment to the.
I second that motion. With a question.
Yes.
First of all, I'm fully supportive of that. I was under the impression that under the state law, they already received that because they were 4 units.
No, so the way the current ordinance only applies to rent increases for properties with 5 or more units.
Yeah, correct.
The 4 or less units, their increases are governed by state, and they don't get additional percentage. However, I would also ask the council to consider giving the mom and pop owners an additional 2%, because the calls I get, their rents are extremely low, but I can't approve it because they're not covered under our ordinance.
Quick follow-up question to that. Define mom and pop.
4 or less.
4 or less. So
Yes.
these are the folks that in our original ordinance, we were trying to protect with that specific amount.
You were trying to exempt
We
them.
were trying to exempt them.
Yes.
But because of the state law, they were included within the state.
Yes.
That is correct.
And now we're trying to bring them up to a place where it would be just.
So what the proposed ordinance is bringing the 4 or less under our ordinance.
Yeah.
They still get the same rent increases that they would get under state, but I'm proposing that they get an additional 2% on top of that, because we have no contention for them to get a little extra.
I'm all for that, especially, we have groups that actually use one of the apartments for themselves, and then in addition, they rent the other 3. How would our process be to get the additional 2%?
Currently, I have the property owners email me. They tell me the bedrooms of the units, the current rent, the last time they raised the rent. If it's less than 12 months and less than 80%, I approve the increase.
So can we leave that as the actual process, just so that we're clear here?
We can.
Okay. So if that's the case, if you want to add it, make a friendly amendment, if I could make a friendly amendment, Mayor, to
Yes.
yours and include that portion
Exactly.
to add the 2% via the process that Kima would approve, that we just discussed. So I'll make that as a motion, Mayor.
Okay, and okay, and I'm gonna, so we'll keep that motion on the table. I want to make another amendment. So Mr. McLaughlin was talking about substantial renovations, and he wrote to me several times. I think he probably wrote to Alex too. regarding the fact that we don't have just cause eviction, we do not have just cause eviction for renovations, but for substantial renovations of varying amounts, we allow the owners to recoup through rent at a capped rate amount, 50% of the renovation cost. Is that correct, Mr. Decatur?
So the current ordinance lists substantial renovations as a just cause for an eviction. It is my contention that that can possibly end up being a loophole because there is no clear definition on what a substantial remodel is.
It should be removed. I'm asking that that be removed.
Yes, so the proposed ordinance combines substantial remodels with capital improvements.
Yes.
And instead of it being fees where they can recoup 50% of their costs, we're making it rent. And that way, it protects the owners if the tenant chooses not to pay.
Okay. Everybody got that? To remove just cause to do a substantial renovation, but allow the owners to recoup through rent
50%.
up to 50% of the renovation costs, with a cap per month that they can.
So the cap monthly as proposed is $50.
Okay, so do I have a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that, but really quick, I would like us to clarify the motivation in that because, you know, the purpose of it, unless we describe it, it's not clear as to why we need to.
The motivation is just what the first lady called about.
Right.
She's lived somewhere for 10 years.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to move.
Exactly.
And she doesn't want the $10,000.
Exactly.
But under the current iteration, she would have to move, even if she didn't take the $10,000.
Right.
This would give her the option to stay, but she would have to share in the cost for the renovations.
At $50 per month.
Right, and it's
I
two
understand
things.
that. What I wanted to do was clarify that on record, that that's the motivation, but if you could go further.
So the caller that called was actually what I would consider a lucky tenant. Because I've been getting calls from seniors where the new property management has been telling them when June 30th comes, you're gonna get a 60-day increase because we're gonna do a substantial remodel. But they only offering them like $3,000. When I calculate what their relocation would be, it's somewhere like $12,000, $13,000. So I tell my senior, don't move, stay still. So again, I think it would transform into a loophole where new property management would come in and buy buildings and find a reason to remove tenants so they can raise the rent. Now, we do include in the proposed ordinance a buyout clause if you want to offer more, but it can't be less than what they would get for relocation.
Okay. And there'd be one more amendment I would like to propose, particularly due to COVID and the problems that people have had, including property owners, with rents that have been, forestalled, that we waive registration fees for our program until January of 2022.
I don't have a problem with that, to give them some relief in our system,
May I?
right?
Look, may I? I'm for that, for the reasons you stated. But can staff come up with a time frame in which to register? So if you register during this time frame, you're not responsible for paying fees. But if you don't, you have to pay fees.
Right.
And because you're paying late, you cannot pass those fees down to the tenant. So take advantage of this time frame that we set, register, and you pay no fees.
So then the amendment would read that if you are registered by December 31st,
Or whatever that date is, yes.
whatever the date is that
Well,
we choose.
let's agree on it, Mayor, so that.
October 1st, no?
October 1st.
Okay, that you register by October 1st. then
October
you-
1st is the current one. We're saying,
No, that's when it goes into effect, but we're saying to register by then, not be charged, to register your property by October 1st, but you will not be responsible for fees until January of 2022.
I was
And then
thinking you would
and if you-
register in January and not pay, say, April. You're giving them, because I think one of the issues, we don't know the impact of how it's going to affect the courts because of the state legislation. It gives us time to see how that's going to impact our constituents, whether the courts are going to be overwhelmed with evictions. Because if a tenant can't pay by June 30th, they're not going to be able to pay by July 1st. And if the state doesn't extend it July 1st, evictions start.
So your recommendation is that.
January 2022.
That we gotta pick a date, so.
That first Monday.
Don't do it on New Year's.
Right.
Either at the middle or the end.
So whatever the end of the first week of January is.
And give them 90 days to register.
Okay, and then you're saying they would receive 90 days from that date to register?
Yes.
So then what is the penalty if they don't register within
They
90
now have to
days?
pay the registration fees. That's your penalty. After 90 days, you'll be responsible to pay the registration.
In other words, the 90 days are to take advantage of
Yes.
the benefit we are bestowing today.
Right.
If they do not do it within those 90-day timeframes, they no longer get the benefit. The benefit is good for 90 days.
Well, but I'm still missing something, so they're not paying anything until then anyway, so what is it?
I thought we were trying to, and correct me, you came up. I thought we were trying to give them a deadline by which to be registered each unit.
Yes.
If they do that, they don't have to pay the fee.
I'm saying that
That's
day
waived.
is 90 days after the first week in January.
So now we're extending that to, if you've registered by, say, January 5th, you're good, you don't pay fees?
Until when?
If
The
you-
following year.
See, this is what's confusing me. What is your forgiveness? If you're saying, if you register by, it sounds like April, and then you don't, what is the penalty?
The penalty is you have to pay fees.
No, if I can,
Go
I
ahead.
believe I would like to see if we can clarify.
You're the smartest
The
one.
truth, I believe the mayor's motion is to grant a benefit of non-fees during the registration period.
Yeah.
Our belief, at least my belief, is that if in fact somebody registers, it's good for 1 year. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay,
Are you
so-
suggesting that if you register by this deadline, then you're not gonna pay any fees?
Until the following
Until
year.
2020, till the end of 2022?
Correct,
To the end of
right?
2022.
Oh,
No.
oh,
So the thing is, registration is in October,
Yes.
right? I'm saying because of everything that's going on, we just extend that date to
Okay, and.
January.
And I get that.
And then
if you
October
do that-
22, registration kicks in
Oh,
for the second year.
So that's what has to be made clear.
Yes.
So you're saying if you register by the end of the first week in January, then you will not pay any fees until October of 2022.
Yes.
Let's make that clear.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yes.
That was his motion. and
Got-
I-
I
yeah,
thought you meant October this year.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
And that's my motion when I said October.
Yeah, from
But
one
anyway,
period to the next.
I got
okay.
you.
Can she, if you don't mind, Ms. Decatur,
Yes,
can you
ma'am.
please restate it for our residents watching right now, just because it was a little.
Here, let me do it.
Okay.
Okay? All right? For those property owners that register their properties by the end of the first week in January, and somebody look at a calendar and tell me what that date is. Everybody got a phone.
Yes.
If you register your property by that date, by that Friday, then you will not be charged the fees for the program until October of 2022.
Two.
January
Okay.
7th, Mayor.
So January
So-
7th.
7th.
So January 7th, if you are registered by January 7th,
Yes.
then you will not be charged for enrollment fees in the program until October 1st
2022.
of 2022,
Okay.
okay?
And just exactly.
And now the opposite to that is, if you don't register by then you will be charged fees,
Appropriate fees.
appropriate fees.
Right.
You-
For 2022. Yes.
Okay, then the penalty will be, if you don't register by January 7th, then you will start being assessed fees when? In February of 2022?
So that's why I was asking if the registration period for the forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
It starts in January, not pay by January, start in January to the end of March. And this is also, it gives us the chance to get correct data after whatever happens with the court. So give them 90 days from January. They're not paying anything.
Okay, I'm gonna amend my motion. Okay, listen, the registration period will commence. Yes. On January 8th.
That's
it
what I'm
will
asking.
run through April what?
And it can run January 1st, it can run March 31st.
It will run through March 31st.
If you do not register by that time, you now have to start paying registration fees in April.
In April.
If you don't pay in April, then your penalties kick in May.
Let me tell you something. Your staff is out there. They loving this. They're loving it.
And I think, Mayor, just so that we can speak to it appropriately, I think what the motion is that the fees, the registration fees will be waived if they register between January 7th and March 31st.
Yes.
And that way, on March 31st, no language needs to say anything. We just merely waived them for that period of time.
That's it.
Did someone clarify?
That's it. That's what I'm asking.
But I say that we use that language versus saying we give something.
Go, I'm good with that. And,
Mayor, you had said January 8th, but I know you meant January 7th.
7th.
Yes, we mean January 7th, which was a Friday.
and if I may, while you guys are receptive to my proposals, when we were bringing up Section 8 tenant, Section 8, of course, has this stereotype of the type of tenant they are, but even with the state law, an owner can't refuse a tenant because they have a voucher. I think our rental laws, because Section 8 tenant makes up our rental population, should be based on the property type and not the tenant. If a Section 8 tenant moves into a multifamily unit, they should have the same rights as a regular tenant in that unit. If they take their voucher and move to a single-family homes aren't covered under rent control, that's their choice. But tenant B and tenant A, who both pay $1,800 for a 2-bedroom, and tenant A pays $1,800, and tenant B only pays $200, that owner is still getting $1,800. It shouldn't be a difference. It seems discriminatory.
Okay, well, that has to be turned into a motion. So the motion is that Section 8 tenants will be treated the same as non-Section 8 tenants.
The motion, yes.
Okay, let me
Yep.
finish. You getting like Eloy now.
No, yeah. But really quick.
Wait.
Okay, go ahead and finish your thought.
Finish. So you were saying Section 8 tenants, as it relates to the terms of our ordinance, they will be treated the same as non-Section 8 tenants.
Yes.
And the everything will be determined by the property type as it is.
Yes.
For non-Section 8.
And the way the relocation assistance is structured, the base relocation is 3 times your rent, but it's 3 times the rent the tenant pays. So if a Section 8 tenant pays $50, their base relocation is $150. Tenant A pays $1,800. Their relocation is $5,400. Did I do my math right?
That
Yes,
was
I did.
quick. That was
mental
good.
math. Yes. So I think it should be based on property type.
That's fair.
So that's for purposes of that, that's good. Okay,
Yes.
that makes sense.
Okay, so now we have 3 amendments, is that right?
I think we have, well, that makes 4.
4, I have
I think that's 3, 4.
She's
4, 5 motions.
Okay, tell me what you have, Madam Clerk.
We have the motion to amend the CPI to reflect the 5%. We have the friendly amendment for the moms and pops that are 4 and less units. Mayor Budston made a motion to waive regular fees registered by October 1, but you will be won't be charged until January 22. Property owners required by 1/7/22 through.
And see, we gotta stop right there.
So if
So what we there was confusion about the Octobers. I was talking about October 22, but what we've come up with is that if you register between January 7th and
March 31st.
March 31st,
Your fees will be waived.
your fees will be waived until October 1 of 2022.
Yes,
That's that motion.
that's the first
About your
motion.
mom and pops. You got your
City
mom and
attorney
pop.
wants
The
to,
mom and pop concession is already included in proposed ordinance, so there's no need to make a motion for that.
Okay? So you don't worry about the mom and pops. It's already included in the proposed
What
order.
about the 5% to bring?
CPI?
So the CPI will be in addition to the properties with 5 or more if they're less than 80% under fair market.
does that require a motion or?
It does.
It does, and that
Yeah.
was the motion.
Yeah,
That,
Like Eloy
that
said.
if they're 80% or less
right.
of the median market, they will be allowed the 5% as allowed by the
Right.
state,
Yeah.
plus CPI.
Yes.
Okay.
I think the city attorney had a comment, Mayor.
Mayor, you're only waiving the 2021 fees, correct?
Yes,
And not the 2022.
yes.
So do you mind if we take each individual motion and amendment to it individually? So that when we come back with the changes to the ordinance. that we can get it
Well,
correct?
then all you would have to do is make a motion, but I thought it was included in the motion that if you register by January 7th,
No.
Yes.
okay, you guys are gonna have to stop doing this to me.
Yeah,
I'm not that
exactly.
old yet. Hold on a second. If you register between January 7th and March 31st, you aren't paying anything
That is correct.
for this year or next year until October 1st.
That is
Okay.
2022,
Of
yes.
2022. But if you fail to register by March 31st, you will start paying the fees on April 1st.
Yes, yes.
See? Everybody tells me
Very
no all the
good, Mayor.
time.
Mayor?
You did a great
Hey,
job.
Mayor, I think the city attorney, what he's asking is instead of us,
vote
is to
separate.
do each one separate. Each amendment, vote on it, each amendment, vote on it.
Yeah.
So
We
that
should.
way, for
We should
clarity,
anyway.
clarity later on, when this comes back to us, it'll make it a lot smoother.
Oh, it's
That's-
appropriate.
That's what the city attorney's asking.
I have no problem with that, gentlemen.
So
The first one has been moved in second, am I
Yes,
correct?
that's the one for the
Go ahead,
CPI.
Mayor.
Yes, sir. You're correct.
Madam City Clerk.
This is the one to amend the CPI, okay? Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Would you read Amendment 2?
The amendment 2 is for the property owners that are registered by January the 7th, 2022 through March 31st, 2022. They will not have to pay fees until October 1, 2022.
Yeah.
However, if property owners are not registered by March 31st, 2022, they will be responsible for fees as of April 1, 2022.
That's correct.
Okay, yes,
Second,
thank you.
that's your
Madam-
motion.
That's my
Yes.
motion.
Yes.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Let's go to Amendment 3.
That was it, Mayor, because we
we
Xed out
combined.
the other, what's the other?
Section 8 tenants.
We had a motion
I
to
stand.
treat Section 8 tenants the
To have the
same
same rights.
when it comes to relocation fees as we do non-Section 8
regular
And
tenants,
it'll be based on what they actually receive.
of what they actually pay in rent.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Thank you, Padilla, second.
Okay, Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Aye.
And Mayor Buds.
Aye. And then just confirming before we close this out, that we've already eliminated the just cause evictions for renovations. You cannot be forced to take the relocation money if you want to stay, but however, you will be charged up to $50 a month until 50% of the renovation costs are paid.
Or 72 months, whichever comes first. So are you guys good with $50 a month is a question. Because it's 5,000 per unit or 10,000 for the whole property. Now, I don't know any landlord that does renovations while a tenant's there. They usually do it when the tenant leaves. That's why I was saying I think it could end up being a
Have you
loophole.
totaled out the $50?
$50 over 72 months is 600 times 6, so 3,600?
3,600? Seems
A long time.
a long time to recoup what doesn't sound like a significant improvement.
Well, here's the issue. The issue is that usually a landlord that's not a big business, they'll finance it. So the thought should be, is this reasonable in terms of them financing renovations? So I
In
do.
terms of who?
Of a landlord. So if I borrow $10,000 to renovate an apartment, is it reasonable that I get $3,600 back after
No, that's the
6 years? That's
question,
not
yeah.
fair. So we have to come up with something that's more fair as it pertains to the cost of a renovation. So
Yeah, because under yours, Mayor, if I may, you gave an example of a 10,000, but what if they spend 20? They still only recoup the 3,600.
that's all they would.
Yeah.
And I don't see how they can do that.
Yeah,
And suppose they have an old building and.
Yeah, and they have to.
And they have to.
I want the council to consider that this will be additional rent.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
Okay,
additional rent.
okay.
understand that.
Not fees, but
No,
it'll
no,
be.
this is additional rent,
Got it.
so.
Yeah.
This
we
will,
understand.
increase their monthly rent.
Yes.
But I mean, the owners have to be,
Compensated.
Fairly compensated because they have to
Right.
borrow the money. And remember, they're paying 50% of it.
Yeah.
So it's not fair. They pay 50% of it and then they.
in addition to.
In addition to that, we cap their reimbursement, and we cut it off after 72 months. So I do feel $50 a month is too low.
I agree.
I think it should be $100 a month.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's what I was
Let's
thinking
do
too.
100, Mayor. I think that at least.
I think that's fair.
At least, you're looking at, if someone spends 15,000, at least they're gonna get 7,000.
Okay. Okay, so is that your motion, Councilman Padilla? Months?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Now, is this for capital improvements or is this for specific? Because specific units is only if you spend 5,000, well, I guess it's 5,000 or more.
Yeah, it's 5,000 or more, so.
5,000
And
or
they
more.
can't recoup more than 50%, so it's still,
It's still the
it
same.
still
It ju-
works.
Okay,
I think it's inclusive.
Yeah.
gotcha, okay.
And it makes it simpler too.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
So the maximum charge for a tenant can be $100 a month.
At Up to
Whether-
50%.
Whether it be capital improvements for the whole building, or what was the amount per individual unit?
5,000 or
So
more.
if they spend 5,000 or more, the most that they can be charged is $100 a month.
Correct.
Until 50% of the reimbursement is made, or 72
Months,
months.
whichever comes first.
Okay,
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk?
Yes, sir. Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Aye.
Mayor Budd.
Aye.
that's it?
Mr. Couture, I
I
hope
did
you enjoyed
great.
your time here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Kimo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming and working so hard.
Yeah, thank your whole unit, actually. Okay, here we go. Let's see. So we did the Housing Protection Department. Now, wait a minute, let's make sure, did we go through 1 through 3 and 4? On 01?
You introduced,
Yeah, we did, because we just modified it, so it's done. And we changed everything, so we've made the
What, item
motions.
4, Mayor, would you like to just go ahead and authorize staff to reduce the registration fees? Oh, well, you did.
We eliminated them, so
We voted on that already.
we voted on that, to eliminate them.
Correct.
Okay. A1, all reports from the city attorney.
None, Mayor.
All right. Smart man. CM1,
Thank you, Mayor. No oral reports from the city manager's office.
all right. CC1,
Yes,
city
Mayor, I
clerk.
just would like to inform everyone, want to give thanks and kudos to our emergency service department. They did a fantastic job last Friday with the vaccination program, and I just wanted to let everyone know that myself and the deputy and another young lady, Beatrice Harvey, we went down to get our first vaccination shot, so we'll be fully vaccinated come May the 14th. So just wanted to let everyone know. That's it, Mayor.
Okay, and I was so glad to hear that you got the vaccination. I've been bugging her for so long. Okay, CSA 2.
Minutes of the meetings held on July 7th, 2020, July 14th, July 21st, July 28th, August 11th, and August 18th, 2020.
So,
Motions.
motion to reconsider the minutes.
Second.
I'm sorry. Successor agency members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Aye.
Chairman Butts.
I move approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Successor agency members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Abstain.
Chairman Butts.
Aye. Adjourn the successor agency.
No, Mayor, CS.
Oh, CS3.
Yes, sir.
Whoa, but we're not adjourning the successor agency. CSA 3.
And a quorum is present. Approval of the minutes of the meeting held on September 15th, 2020.
So
Motion to approve.
Second. Madam Clerk.
Successor agency members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Abstain.
Chairman Butts.
Aye. We'll adjourn the successor agency. H2.
Yes, Mayor. Minutes of the meetings held on July 7th, 2020, July 14th, July 21st, July 28th, August 11th, and August 18th, 2020.
Motion to reconsider the minutes.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Housing Authority members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Aye.
Chairman Butts.
I move approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Housing Authority members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Abstain.
Chairman Butts.
Aye. H3.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting held on September 15th, 2020.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Housing Authority members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Abstain.
Chairman Butts.
I adjourn the Housing Authority. P1.
Minutes of the meeting held on July 28th, 2020.
Motion to reconsider the minutes.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Parking Authority members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Aye.
Chairman Butts.
I move approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Parking Authority members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Abstain.
Chairman Butts.
I adjourn the Inglewood Parking Authority. JPA 1.
Minutes of the meeting held July 21st and August 11th, 2020.
Motion to reconsider the minutes.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Joint Powers Authority members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Aye.
Chairman Butts.
I move approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Joint Powers Authority members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Abstain.
Chairman Butts.
Aye. We'll adjourn the Joint Powers Authority. But you know, it's going to be disappointing pretty soon. All these minutes are going to be caught up, and we're going to lose half the meeting.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
We'll bring
We have-
chemo back.
Okay, we got a new filler. A new filler. Okay. No appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. Public comment. Persons wish to address the city council on any matter connected with city business not elsewhere considered may do so at this time. Operator, are there any callers?
Yes, there is one caller. One moment.
All right.
Caller, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
You should exclude the 2 units, homeowners, and ADUs because it's often they're renting to keep their home or they need companion help. There's been deliberate and continued and ongoing Brown Act violations, harassment, intimidation, not reading and blocking verbal public comments, non-communication, negating personal experience, attacking and undermining citizens. We need 3 minutes for each agenda item. You claim you're following COVID protocols, repeatedly violating them, and public safety guy parented me on the day of George Floyd his murder verdict. Butts, Padilla, Fields, and others still have not responded to my phone messages, emails, and more, and requests for meetings regarding critical, urgent, personal and safety and property issues. Apparently, your employees are following the lead and attitudes of administration and HR, and there's drones that are, and Fronterata. There's drones that are still stalking women in and around their homes. Despite all of this, you won't communicate with me regarding these and other issues and violations. The terrorizing needs to stop. Do your job.
Thank you, Ms. Crabb. Operator, any other callers?
You did it again. There you go again. But another Brown House violation.
Operator. Operator, are there any other callers?
Yes, to the next caller. Caller, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Am I on or can talk?
You're on, Gil.
Okay, this is Gil Matthew, District 4. Mayor and City Council, on balance, this was a good meeting. There's many things that need to be said. Number one is Section 8 is voluntary as long as the property owner agrees to it. And second, we need a schedule of voting. The three of you are sitting there with an extended time. In other words, you're lame duck councilman and mayor, and we need a voting schedule. And third, there's a lot of stuff. I noticed today you approved the minutes, and I'm happy to see that because I was going to defer to the city attorney, but you already taken care of that where you approved the the payment of the bill. But yet and still, there's a lot of stuff that we have to deal with. We need a skill center. We got to look in terms of what's happening ahead. We need this assignment to the parking. We got contracts that we can do in-house.
You're at time. You're at time. Are the operator any other callers?
Yes, a couple more to the next caller. Your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Very quickly, I appreciate certainly much of the work that you've done, Mayor, and this is Rod Wright. And, clearly in the old days, us mom and pop owners were kind of welcome in Inglewood, but between the moratorium of the state and other places, we're essentially being driven out of business. It gets tough. I know landlords who are in Inglewood who are down over $20,000 in back rent. They have repairs that are going to cost them over $30,000, and it's tough to get that money. I appreciate what you're trying to do. I saw you making some compromises. But let me just say, in a minute, all of us are going to be gone. We're going to end up having to sell to the big guys. They will convert them into luxuries and condominiums, and there will be no affordable housing left in Inglewood other than that you pay for.
So, Senator Wright, so what are you proposing for people that don't have the money? When you say that you'll be moving people out, so for people that don't have the money to pay these back rent and to pay up front for these renovations, then what's the solution?
It's a tough call. I think the state, when they came up with this moratorium, without having any way to finance that, for most of us mom and pop who were living in some cases on that money, that hit us right in the pocket.
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, that was not the city of Inglewood's fault, so that I'm clear. I'm not blaming you for that. But as we look down the road, as I mentioned, you've got people who are literally just going to have, in some cases, they'll just walk away because they won't have the money to maintain the building. And in other cases, they'll just sell out to the big guys. And part of the discussion that you're already having is that people will pay $10,000 to kick that tenant out, or they'll just shut the building down and kick that tenant out because if they convert it to luxury, they can get market rate or more because it's now a building. So I think if we could work together and do some things as small landlords and the city, I think we could bypass some of it. There's not enough time on this call to do it all, but there's certain things, notes and other things that I've had. But I think we really want to protect the mom up.
And we do understand that, and I do believe that the state and the federal government should have thought about the landlords instead of unilaterally saying you can't evict anyone for non-payment of rent. There should have been a stimulus subsidy for housing providers. I agree with you. Operator, next call.
Yeah, go ahead.
Operator, next caller.
Operator.
Caller, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Operator, next caller.
And no further callers.
All right, we'll close public comment. We'll go to council comments. Councilman Dotson.
Thank you,
District,
Mr.
wait a
Mayor.
minute, District 1.
That's right, number one. I was, this past Saturday, the mayor and I went out to congratulate Mrs. Liu and gave her an accommodation for her celebrate of her 99th birthday. We also gave Cornell Benton the same Saturday. The mayor and I presented him with an accommodation for his dedication and continued work in his community. You know, most of the time when you just go out and give these accommodations, the people just don't really appreciate what it takes to do this. And this man gave a lot of his life to his community, and he deserved this accommodation. Today, we celebrated Willie Agee's first anniversary of his death at 11 a.m. at Vincent Park in front of the Willie Agee Playhouse. It was well attended, and we still miss Mr. Inglewood.
That's right. That's right. And the beautiful thing is that he got to see his building while he was still here.
And that's true.
Right.
He smelled his flowers
while
before.
he's here.
That's right.
All right. Councilman Padilla, District 2.
Thank you, Mayor. May you rest in eternal peace. I just wanted to, just reiterate, we had one heck of a discussion when you talk about how we're trying to work with tenants, with property owners, trying to find a, middle ground, and that's a work in progress. We're trying to do the best we can. We listen to folks. We all received emails throughout the week, throughout the weekend, I should say, from both renters and property owners. So I just appreciate Yakima DeCatur and her staff for the work they did on putting together the staff report. And I think that we're moving in a positive direction. And hopefully folks will understand that we're trying to be accommodating for both. That being said, I'm going to move on to yesterday morning. The mayor and I had an opportunity to go to Hudnall Elementary School here in Inglewood. School is back in session. It's going to be incremental as far as students coming to class, and some are still going to be doing Zoom, teaching. But it was really good to see the smile and the laughter and the excitement in these kids and in their parents, bringing their kids back to the schools, to learn in a safe and encouraging environment. And then talking with the teachers, they too were excited to get back into the classroom. So I just want to, thank all our educators, all our folks. I want to thank especially the state trustee, Erica Torres, for being there and for inviting us to participate in the, Welcome Back to School event, as well as, we had our police department there, helping support these young students getting back on campus and being safe. So with that, thank you, Mayor. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week.
That's outstanding, Councilman Padilla. Thank you very much. No, I mean, really, you really capsulized what it felt like for the kids to get back to school. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Falk, District 4.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I will tell you that I definitely would have been there too in support. And my baby, my youngest son, he started back to school yesterday, so I had to
awesome.
have him over at Frank D. Perrin. But yes, it's so great to see our kids getting back to school. They're so excited to see their teachers and their friends. So I agree. I was with you guys in spirit yesterday, for sure. I wanted to give our residents an opportunity to participate. And Los Angeles County is holding a virtual town hall on COVID-19 vaccine updates. Is tonight at 6 p.m., moderated by Dr. Barbara Farrar and 3 other doctors. And so if you want to get the most current, up-to-date information on COVID-19, feel free to tune in. You can go to LA County Public Health, and they will have the information on the virtual town hall that's happening tonight at 6 p.m. And then our assembly member, Ms. Autumn Burke, is holding an Unemployment Insurance 101 webinar, and she will be hosting it with Bet Zedek Legal Services, and that will be happening Tuesday, May 4th, coming up. Please put it on your calendars. It'll be at 5 p.m. For additional information on that, you can go to Assemblymember Autumn Burke's her website and get information. But it should be very informative. Again, that's on unemployment insurance webinar 101. So make sure you participate. And lastly, we do have exciting news for small business owners. They've been making the announcements today, and it's AB 80, and it's providing significant tax relief to California businesses devastated by the coronavirus pandemic. And so for additional information on that, I really urge our small business owners that's been struggling for the last year during COVID-19. A lot of them have actually had to close their doors, but the ones that are still in business, please go to the governor's website and get additional information on this AB 80, so that hopefully you can apply and receive some more information on that. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilman Morales, District 3.
Thank you.
The longest-serving member of the city council.
We all get great introductions today, Mayor. Thank you so much. First of all, I just wanted to touch on the housing ordinance that we did for the Rental Protection Act. I have to say, we're definitely not the only city in the state of California dealing with these type of ordinance and trying to get it right. That's what we're doing. So, you know, we will do what we have to do in the future as well if we have to fix something. But the truth of the matter is we're trying to help as many of our residents as possible. That's the goal here. So right now, that's what we have on the table. I'm glad the senator called in and the mayor offered up a question, you know, because it is not an easy issue. And we welcome anything that he would like to add or approach us with for us to give thought to. So that being said, that issue is probably going to continue to come up. School is in session. I see it on a variety of fronts. I have kids that started school. Very difficult to get back into the routine for parents, so I commend each and every one of them. I am married to a teacher who accommodated, you know, the household looks like a small classroom for the virtual learning, and now she's going back and has to juggle not only the kids at school, but the kids at home, and she just loves what she does, but you can't say enough about how hard the teachers are working right now. So we thank them. And then I would just like to take a moment to talk a little bit about my brother who became the first person of color to be appointed as the Ventura County Superintendent of Schools.
Wait, you said, who is that?
My brother. Yeah. Dr. Cesar Morales, so he becomes the first person of color, and I believe the youngest. But I will say that we are very proud of him. He works extremely hard, and not only that, he was recently commended by the governor of California because he became one of the county leaders who got all of his teachers and staff vaccinated at the fastest rate. I believe they did it in about a month. So that was a big commendation. But overall, we're just very proud of him, and I just wanted to, he's one of us, raised here in Inglewood. Thank you very much.
Superintendent.
Well, of the county.
I don't even feel worthy anymore.
Right?
All right.
Trust me.
All right. So, I hope that Thomas has this for the monitor. I don't know if he does or not. Thomas, you back there? Emery, go knock on the door and ask him how many minutes?
He said 1 minute.
1 minute? Okay. Did you say 1 minute or 2 minutes?
1 minute.
He had one finger.
Okay. So, here we are. We're starting to move out of the COVID-19 crisis. But I wanted to give, an update on where this has placed us financially. We usually produce an indicator of economic indicators for the city of Inglewood. Our sales tax receipts for 2020 versus 2019 dropped 15%. And the largest drop was autos and transportation, down 33%, because why? Everybody's staying home. Fuel and service stations, down 35%. Why? Nobody needed gas. And the next largest area was for restaurants and hotels, down 17%. However, that didn't stop the appreciation of the median home sale prices in Inglewood. We went from median price of $612,000 in 2020, which was up from $574,000 in 2019, to $735,000 for the price of a median home price. That's not the most. That's just the middle for 2021. The median list price for a house in 2021 is $708,000. Rent comparisons, and we're going to go from lowest to highest. Compton's about $1,383 a month for average rent. Gardena, $1,480. Hawthorne, $1,525. Inglewood, $1,840. Torrance, $2,017. Long Beach, $2,135. Los Angeles, $2,368. Culver City, $2,563 a month. And Santa Monica, $3,506 a month. So Inglewood still after all of this is still a rent bargain compared to the whole of the South Bay. Now unemployment, the lowest our unemployment had dropped was 4.7%. When the pandemic began, we were at 5.5%. We peaked at 23% unemployment. We have now moved down to 13.2%. And the trend line is going down. And so I wanted everyone to know as we move into, we will soon give a budget briefing at a council meeting, and so I want people to know where we stand right now, what our plans are for the future when we have that meeting. And with that, I'm going to acknowledge once again the loss of such a great Inglewood hero, Willie Agee, and with that, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.